You were talking a moment ago about financial leverage over the president and your concerns that the president might be subject to ongoing coercion by Russia because of financial ties. There's this remarkable spread on page 270, 271 of the book, which I've marked up to the point that it's illegible now, about the hiring that you helped the Mueller team do, setting up FBI resources to work with the Mueller investigation, including forensic accountants and people who were experts in tracking transnational organized crime of Russian oligarchs, and accountants who were great at taking registration documents from offshore shell companies and following the thread of the flow of illicit money. There has been recent reporting from Michael Schmidt at the New York Times in particular that follow the money counterintelligence investigation about the president's ties to Russia didn't happen. Whatever you set up there didn't come to fruition, and that investigation was never followed. Does that reporting comport with your understanding?
It does to some extent. I don't know what happened after I left, after I returned to the FBI. What I do know at the time was that Special Counsel Mueller was not going to do a counterintelligence look. The Special Counsel regs, his appointment orders, the way that he structured the teams were very much focused on criminal violations of particular individuals, attorneys with agents and all kinds of, analysts and forensic experts working on that. There was always, having said that, an understanding that we needed to do a broader counterintelligence look. And Director Mueller, speaking with his senior team, as well as back at the FBI with Acting Director McCabe, we all had agreed that the FBI personnel on his team that I was leading, that we would do that counterintelligence look, which would include that into the president. Now, that's a really, really difficult thing to do. And I was struggling up until the day I left to try and figure out how to do it. Because if you think about it, that's a massive undertaking. The Senate Intel report was almost 1,000 pages. And to do something that broad, not only for Trump, but the entirety of the campaign and what we were looking at, I mean, that's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, counterintelligence investigations in the FBI's history. So that may be going on now. It may be at the FBI with the full resources of the U.S. intelligence community and nobody's heard from it, which is good because people shouldn't have heard about it. But what I worry about is that given the way that Trump has responded to all these attempts to get information, particularly about his finances, that had people begun to try to do that, we would have heard about it publicly because he would have fought, screaming and kicking to prevent that from happening. So my deep concern is that it didn't happen, that somehow the FBI assumed that folks on the Mueller team were doing it. Director Mueller thought that these leads were getting sent back to the FBI and that somehow that constituted the CI work, and that this robust look of the nature that the Sisi didn't happen. But I don't know that. It might well be going on, but I would have expected to hear more about it if that were the case.